We called it a Super Saturday, and it's truly been one, both on the cricket field and on the budget pitch. At Auckland in the World Cup match, New Zealand put up a one-wicket thriller in a low-scoring match. But back home here, the Finance Minister Arun Jaitley hit a full toss out of the park. And it's not an overstatement. What a budget we've had on the tax front. A slew of big bank announcements that he made in the industry. Just sample this, some of them. GAR deferred by 2 years. Date with GST, April 2016. A corporate tax rate cut, a daring one, from 30 to 25% for 4 years, effective next year. Clamping down on undisclosed foreign assets. MAT on FI has been done away with, and I'm just starting off. There are a lot more. My colleague Amay tells me there are 78 amendments in the finance bill. I think any seminar that's held will take at least 6 hours to decode this one, but we haven't. We are here within an hour, and we are going to decode the fine print for you as well as it gets. With me, to my right, colleague Amay to take over from the executive editor of Taxsutra. He'll be taking us through all the key fine print analysis in the direct tax bill. Aditya Natkarni will be taking us through quite a few changes he says in Central Excise and Senvat credit. To my left, Vinita Kodani will tell us about the negative list cloning in service tax again, and Bharti will tell us a little bit about yoga. How is it now a charitable activity? And of course, on section 263, that's a bit more serious. Lot of implications. And Nikita from Bangalore, before I forget, Nikita is going to be joining us from Bangalore. She's here. She will talk about indirect transfers, 50% threshold being set, and residency of companies. Some very important changes there, which could impact MNCs. So I start with Amit. Amit, which being big bank, not disappointing at all.
Absolutely. So many changes in the tax side. I frankly wasn't expecting it. First thing first, no retrospective change. Absolutely. No, it's anti-climax, no change in the transfer pricing regulation except tweak the domestic transfer pricing limit. And of course, there are a couple of interesting points. Base erosion profit shifting, which we've been talking about, I mentioned in the budget document. On the overall side, we saw Finance Minister lay down a path for next 4 years. Coming to the specific fine print, Arun, and which is very critical. Indirect transfer, Nikita will touch upon various changes, but I think the clarity with which this section 9 has been amended, based on Shom Committee recommendation, I think it's welcome. I think it is much needed. Couple of important aspects, especially which are relevant to the financial investors. Number one, removal of the minimum alternate tax for foreign institutional investors. I think that has been one of the open areas. What happens to foreign institutional investors, especially with the MAT levy. The second point which has been clarified is the residence, especially of the fund managers of the foreign funds. The finance minister in his budget speech mentioned that he wants to bring the clarity on this. When I look at the fine print on the business connection definition, especially on around this, there are a lot of specific rules on when a foreign fund will not be liable to tax in India. For example, there is a limit on the number of people that are there, and so on.
195.6, 195.6.
I will come to that, but I'm covering the financial institutional investors part. The third aspect is the alternative investment funds, giving a pass-through status to category 1 and category 2 alternate investment funds has been the industry has been demanding this for long, for some time. They got what they wanted. On the procedural side, there have been a number of changes. I mean, to tell you, Arun, there have been instances in this budget where 4 rulings have been overruled, and we'll touch upon a couple of them. But before that, one very interesting change on the procedural side is reporting of the payments to non-residents. Under section 195(6), which was introduced in the recent budgets, talked about reporting of the taxable transactions, which meant that non-taxable transactions, where, let's say, if you take a relief under the treaty, could not have been reported to the income tax department. Now they have specified that all the foreign payments will have to be reported to the department under section 195(6). Of course, the rules are going to come, but that theoretically means, at least as per the law, even import of goods for which a payment is made to a non-resident will be reported.
While if we see procedural, the impact is going to be much
Absolutely.
wider.
Absolutely.
Number two, in some ways it dilutes the gene ruling of Supreme Court. In some ways, that it said that you need not go, unless it's taxable.
The GU link is on a different point.
But you have to go to the tax
You don't need
authority.
a pre-approval. After you make the payment, you report to the
You don't need a
department.
pre-approval, but
Right.
it will open up Pandora's box.
That's true.
Aditya,
Well, there are a lot of changes in excess. We'll start with the standard advert tolerance rate of excise, which has been rounded off to 12.5%, exempting the education cess and the secondary higher education cess. There are a lot of tariff changes as well. Rates of commodities have been decreased on those matters. The most important changes are in the semi credit rule. Semi credit rules, where I think the finance minister has heard the industry's cry. It has increased the time limit for taking semi credit from 6 months to 1 year. They have, in fact, even now said provided for taking semi credit when the goods are sent directly to a job worker.
so he has toned down the rigors.
Yes, yes. But there is one more where Rule 14 has been amended. Rule 14 has been amended where where the credit has been utilized. So earlier it was where credit has been availed and utilized, but now it says that where credit has been wrongly taken but not utilized, then they will the manufacturer can be proceeded against for recovery. So that is one area where the manufacturer and service provider feel the pinch.
Cool. Vineeta, service tax negotiation, and actually you also be talking about penalty.
Yeah. So yes, there have been a proving of the negative list. Some of the things are like access to amusement park facility, entertainment event of concerts, and all of this was to education reform. But I think a major impact has been on the government and the local authority. So while some support services which were provided by the entities were earlier exempt, now the support services which are provided by government to a business entity has now been made taxable. Another one fact is I think civil structure, construction residential property, construction structure for clinic or an education institution by a government authority. Now that exemption is withdrawn with the ruling of the negative list. So now that's also taxable. So I think in a sense the ruling of negative list.
Vineeta, how many items, by how many items does it do this? Is it a big list or a small list?
Not a very big list. But I think the like is for the government or local
Right.
authority.
I can add one point. I think what Aditya mentioned about rationalization of semi credit rules and what Nikita is talking about putting of the negative list also is a step towards the GST implementation. I think these are some of the critical aspects and apart from just aligning the rates, these procedural aspects and the structural aspects, I think we see a clear action being taken by the finance minister in that direction.
Aditya, 14% service tax compared to 14, that's trending on Twitter.
It is going to it.
14.28, Vineeta tells us.
But after the Australian season.
Bharti?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. I think Vineeta wants to come. I'll come back to all the penalty part. Bharti?
With regard to charitable trust, the finance minister has proposed to include yoga as a specific category in the definition of charitable purpose on lines of education. Okay. So again, this is in line with the Delhi IIT including Vidyog Mukti Trust, where it had allowed charitable relief with respect to providing yoga training. However, Delhi IIT treated yoga activities under ambit of providing medical training.
Okay.
So, then further, the proposed enhancement of scope of section 260 by including in its ambit the order passed without making inquiries seems somewhat vague. It should specify actually.
So basically, section 263 for the uninitiated who are very few is orders prejudicial to the interest of the revenue, which the commissioner can revise, right?
Yeah. Now they are proposing to include in its ambit even the orders which are passed without inquiry and registration. So which according to me is somewhat vague. It should actually specify the parameters of deciding what inquiries or verifications should have been made.
Perfect. Bharti, before we go to Nikita, on the yoga part, we have a very interesting comment from senior advocate N. Venkat. This is yogi gurus have a lot to smile, but must first beware of the possible interpretative mysteries which may evolve on the term yoga, baffling even a yogi's body and mind. Nikita, indirect transfers and resilience for companies to hot potato issues.
Right. So the good news is that we finally have clarity on indirect transfers taxation. Most of the recommendations of the SHOM committee have been accepted either in full or in part, and it's also in line with the recent Delhi High Court decision in Popal Research. So now there are two thresholds which are have been mentioned. One is the value of the Indian assets should exceed 10 crores and represent 50% of the value of the total assets of the entity. There is also some clarity on the definition of what specified date means, what value of the assets are. But there's also a reporting obligation that has been imposed on the Indian concern in which the assets are held, and if that is not complied with, then there are penalties that are retracted. The second major change, I think, is on the conditions for determining residency of a company. Earlier, the control and management had to be situated wholly in India, but now they have aligned it to the International Concept of Place of Effective Management, and they've gone ahead to clarify that place of effective management would be the place where key management and commercial decisions are made. So I think this it will be a pressure point for companies for determining residency, and it is an important change.
I think I'll add a couple of comments and then we go across to my colleague Rupesh from Bangalore. He's been sending all the WhatsApp feed to hundreds of our readers and he's getting some interesting feedback and comments from them over the last hour or two. He'll fill in us with those comments, Aman.
I don't know the indirect transfer section 9 which has been introduced. Most important change to look for is that the change is prospective. So it means whatever transactions that have happened before this change in last few years, which are already under scanner, don't benefit from this change. Number one. Number two, specifically looking at nitty-gritties. Of course, a lot of recommendations from Show Committee have been accepted, but a couple of important points: the value of the assets, which is getting transferred to 50% threshold that government has now introduced. This is in line with what Delhi High Court also said in a judgment of last year. The law now says that it shall include direct intangible assets as well as intangible assets, and this is key. I mean, we talk about internet companies. How does the value come from, and whether it's an intangible, whether it should be considered. So the definition specifically includes intangible assets. It will be defined by the government through separate rules, but in the law it specifically includes intangible assets. Secondly, it includes gross value of the asset, so the liabilities are not included. A couple of positive aspects to look at specifically in this clarification. One is that if let us say a foreign entity is doing a share transfer, let's say if India assets are to the extent of 60%, then the earlier provision said that 100% gain is taxable. Now it says that only the proportionate gain is taxable. So in our example, it's only 60%. That is important. And the second aspect is that let us take a hypothetical example of a e-commerce company listed on US stock exchange and deriving substantial value from India. And let's say one shareholder of US stock exchange sells a share in US company. The earlier law stated would have triggered a capital gains tax implication for this person. Now it says that if the person is holding below 5% equity and does not exercise the control, then such gains are not taxable. It essentially means that the genuine bona fide retail transactions that happen overseas would not be liable to tax.
I mean, you said intangible and shortly defined. Simple question, for a tax professional is, Facebook acquired WhatsApp last year. Let's assume hypothetically 55% of WhatsApp users are in India. Could that be considered intangible?
Yes, so even before amendment,
only 5%, revenue is 5% of assets.
So it's the value determination which is the key, and how the value will be decided will come by a rule. I'm saying that before amendment also such a deal would have been taxable. Now in fact there is a slightly more clarity in the framework. That's how I would put it. So in fact foreign investors should be happy with this particular amendment. On charity, yeah, on charity, Bharti mentioned about yoga. A very important point that has been introduced is the proviso of section 215, which defines charitable purpose. A few years back, to avoid the misuse of this charity exemption, entities which are carrying on business, which helps in promotion of the larger objects, and if the value of the receipts from this business exceeded 25 lakhs, then the charity exemption was not available. And we recently had a Delhi High Court judgment in case of Pragati Maidan, where this issue was being debated substantially. Finance Minister has relooked at this, and instead of 25 lakh, which is a very low threshold, he has now changed the threshold to 20% of the receipts. So if a charity is running activities and the revenue from this ancillary activities is less than 20, they will still be entitled to the charity exemption. I think this will help a lot of charitable organizations, especially the corporates which are having the charity entities as well.
Yeah, like a badminton association, which rents out its sports for perhaps. Absolutely. Rupesh, we are waiting to hear from you the comments from tax professionals. What are they saying?
What's up?
It's not disappointing for them. They have a lot of work to do.
There were lots of comments. I will continue with Ameya. There was a special comment on the trust for the yoga. Many taxpayers have asked whether this exemption on yoga is made for Baba Ramdev. Okay, but however, service tax rate increased to 14% is burden to taxpayer. That was the major tweets I have received. Then, however, taxpayers was happy with the wealth tax abolished. Then there was a tweet that taxpayer needs more clarification on pension and security investment, which is increased to 50,000 rupees, as we Indians don't understand the benefit of investments. Then regarding the individual taxpayers and companies, there are a lot of in this budget, but there is nothing more for salaried employees. And even our Dinesh Kanabar has commented, the first time the finance minister is providing a roadmap of 4 years. This was a welcome by all our taxpayers, and especially on the WhatsApp messages.
But thanks so much, Rupesh. I think that's very useful. Since Rupesh has mentioned some comments, I will read out two or three. Prime Minister Modi said, and can you believe it, the sort of outside focus tax is acquired today in all economies. Prime Minister Modi's tweet, budget is investment friendly, removes all doubts on tax issues. It assures investors that we have a stable, predictable, and fair tax system. The proof of the pudding, however, is in the implementation of this. Girish Vanwari, big KPMG tax head, big bank tax announcement, stock fight, guard deferral, GST implementation by 2016, reduction in corporate tax rate over next 4 years, several measures to ease compliances, reduce litigation curve, black money, social security measures, optional EPF contributions, health security. Mukesh Bhutani of BMR, excellent, can't find negative, overwhelmed, positive, had a lot of clarity and thinking. Will he change his mind after looking at the fine print? We'll ask him again. Girish Kanabar, proposals truly path-breaking. Increase in TP threshold for, I think mentioned domestic TP, welcome. Abolition of bed tax, surprising but very welcome. Gautam Doshi Reliance, guard deferral and lowering of tax on royalties, very positive. Ketan Dalal, on the direct tax part, while a few good aspects such as guard deferral, some further clarity on indirect transfers, roadmap for reduction in corporate tax rate and burial of DTC. Some aspects which not touched are MAT, DDP and infrastructure incentives, but MAT on FI
is not done away with, and there is also another important clarity which helps a lot of joint ventures which are organized as association of persons. So a profit sharing in an association of persons which would have been liable to MBD, now there is a clarity that MAT will not be applicable. So this is again an important aspect which I feel will be helpful in the infrastructure.
I have a question on that. Intra-organizational payments have now been clarified, they are not self-to-self, and they will, I think, be taxed, or there will be some tax implications on intra-organizational payments. It somewhere confirms the Regional Bank ruling 9 years back and overruled Sumitomo special bench. I think the question will be asked that why did the CBDT have to wait for 9 years to do this?
No, that's a valid observation, Arun. But I think so. This is an important amendment. For the first time.
And how does it deal?
Sure. So it deals with specifically the foreign banks which are operating in India. The foreign banks which are operating through the branches in India. There was a issue on whether the interest payments by these branches to the head office, what is the tax treatment to that. Banks were taking a position that this interest is deductible expenditure when it comes to the computation of Indian business, but when it comes to the taxability in the hands of the foreign recipient, it is not taxable, and therefore
There was double value for the revenue.
that's right. Now this amendment actually brings the parity that it very clearly says that it will be treated as a permanent establishment, it will be treated as a independent entity. Number one. Number two, the expenditure will be deductible in the hands of the branches of the foreign banks which are organized as PE, and in the hands of the foreign banks, it will be taxable, which means the TDS applies. I think some call it as a patchwork, perhaps. However, what would have helpful is to look at a comprehensive source rules for the foreign bank taxation. But having said that, I think it's a welcome step to put a clarity on this.
How many surprise and nothing people surprise? Pleasantly surprising. Or pleasant or unpleasant depends on which aspect you look at. But quite surprising.
No, I think whatever could have been done in the at least the Income Tax Act was already done in the last budget, and we are ready for the rules which hopefully should
Like rollback.
APA rollback,
Interquartile
range, etc. So if those things are taken care of, and I think I don't really discuss enough, we will find out the issue is more on the implementation and administration of the law. So I'm not surprised with not many PP changes coming to in the budget.
One important point that Nikita mentioned on residential companies.
Right.
Let me very second quick that is that it is going to be a subjective interpretation. As if I heard correctly, one of the tax experts saying on TV that what is effective use. You're again going back to the same issues of how many board meetings are held there and so on and so forth.
Sure. So Arun, actually, this is abbreviated as POEM, poem. Till last year we were hearing Chidambaram's poems. This year, we are seeing a different kind of change in the law. I think Finance Minister JD mentioned that a lot of changes in the Select Tax Code are already being implemented in the existing law. This one change was something which was missing. We already had GAR, we already had Section 9 transfer. In taxation, the residence determination of the companies was something which was missing, and that has been brought in. So quickly, 10 seconds, what it means is that either to a company which is registered and incorporated in India was resident in India, and a foreign company which has its control and management mostly situated in India was considered as a resident of India. Now it says that a company, and especially a foreign company, where the place of management is, where the place of effect it is managed and controlled out of India, not only, then such foreign company will be regarded as a resident. So you're right. That a foreign company holding board meetings, the residence requirement will have to be looked into. But this change, Arun, is in line with the global rules on deciding the residency criteria. So we have aligned ourselves, in fact, to the global standard.
The only rule that I think we brought here is CFC. Except CFC, we have most of the rules which are comparable to international practices.
That's true. But with the guard approval, I'm not sure whether they will bring in CFC, because otherwise CFC could have been brought under the guard rules.
So, Aditya, quick word as we manage.
Just one, on the customs side, I would just want to bring out that I think already the government looking at making India initiative, what they have done is now they have increased the tariff rate of basic customs duty on commercial motor vehicles. They have increased it from 10% to 40%, and the effective basic customs duty on such vehicles has increased from 10% to 20%. So there is.
So what gets costlier? Which are the categories that get costlier?
You have the branded imported cars which are coming in, so those will definitely be costlier. That but there is that the ones where which are brought in under security condition, or which are electrically operated, there is no change. So there's still the 10% duty still limit.
When it comes to the penalty part,
Before we manage to identify the one have been amended with the valuation taxable services, providing clear that all the investment expenditure costs which is charged by the service providers shall now be included. There have been a lot of debate and litigation on this point. So the memorandum clearly said that the intention has always been to increase reimbursable expected value taxable, and however in some case courts have taken a contrary view. Therefore, the intention is now being specifically stated by this provision. I think it's a very important point. and there are
On the penalty point.
now on the penalty point, while various provisions under excise, customs and service tax recently have been rationalized, one point is that section 80 and the service taxes waiver penalty. Basically, authority to waive the penalty in case there was a negligence for that has been removed. So I think the section 80 was a bit ready to the SIC. That chapter is now being removed. So have a major impact on this.
Quickly, Vinita, on the indirect tax side, how do you rate the budget? Indirect tax, quickly, out of 10.
So on the excise side, there has been major change, but by
Your rating on the indirect tax. Bharti, on the direct tax side, very challenging. Aditya?
I'll give the two marks for the excise and service tax rate increase, but I'll give it 8 on that.
Nikita?
I would also rate the budget 8 on 10, Arvind.
Yeah, I think all the tax researchers are very happy that they have a lot of work to do for the next few weeks at least. Rupesh, any final word?
Oh yes, I just received a tweet from one of our subscriber. He says concealment under section 271C, even if total income is computed under section 115 JB or JC.
Yeah. I think the scope of
So this is going to be very important.
I think that's the bigger worry. I mean, I think some of them would mind 300% penalty going to even 500% or whatever. But the 10-year imprisonment is coming somewhere in line with prosecution in the US. And so it should take tax fraud quite seriously, and it is a punishable offense, a criminal offense in fact. So that's that. Amay, any final words? Have we left out anything? I'm sure we have. There are 78 amendments.
Yeah, there are so many of them. I think just one point to water for there in the fine print a significant focus on the TDS, the tax deduction source, and I think these changes coupled with all the penalties and so on will see a tightening administration and a focus on the collection, which is the key. So you were asking about rating of the budget.
Yeah.
Before reading the fine print, I was expected to give 10 on 10. After reading the fine print, I will give 9 on 10.
9 on 10 is still hitting the full toss out of the park, maybe not out of the ground, complete like Chris Gate does, maybe somewhere on the roof. Thanks so much. That is the budget fine print analysis. Union Budget 2015, Super Saturday coverage of Taxsutra. Stay tuned here. We have a lot more to come. Expert columns, handouts, lot of news for the next 24 to 48 hours. Stay tuned to taxsutra.com. Thank you.